Okay, so today's topic is a kind of weird one for Cam Church, but I think that even if you are not an entrepreneur... Oh, hello, Nicole! Welcome! Do you have any prayers you want to throw on the candle while it's lit? Pray the aliens come help this planet out. Stephen, we're here. We're here. If you're worried about the election, the only thing you have to think about is don't worry, and it won't happen. This will never happen again. It's kind of absurd that it's happening now, but it won't happen again. We're just a little bit ahead of the game here. But the aliens are here, dude. We're here. And they're here. They're here. They're here with us. Okay. So this topic is maybe not for, maybe you don't want to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you don't feel like starting a business that will be successful in 2020. But even still, I think this talk will help you understand kind of some of the changes that we're going to be going through. You saw UFOs in the sky last night, see? I want to pray that we can all step towards dealing with our emotions in a better way. Uni bless. So that we all see our emotions for what they are and honor them and feel them and process them in very healthy ways. That's good. Those are good. Good things. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference. Uni bless. Weed helps you deal with your emotions. Some people it does, some people it doesn't. Some people it puts them on hold. Weed helps me deal with my emotions as well. When I smoke very infrequently, but when I do, I feel this big cloud that I've been apparently carrying around with me, and I sort through it. And I can't do it any other way except to smoke weed every month or so. It's really strange. It's very helpful. But I don't smoke it that often because it wouldn't help me otherwise. So find your medicine and use it however it's meant to be used. Okay, so even if you are not an entrepreneur, which you should be, the reason why I say you should be is because creation is the cure to consumption. So if you look around and you're like, I hate this plastic world where all the employees all the employers, sorry, I'm still getting this coffee in me. All the employers treat the employees like shit, and like nobody has benefits, and everything sucks, and all blah, 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 blah. Everything's disposable, we're creating all this trash. You can go on and on, right? If you feel that way, the best way to counter that, of course you can shop smart and things like that, but the best way to counter that is to start your own business that is very healthy. And so the way that business is going to be run in the future is in some ways very similar to the way that businesses are run now and have been run in the past, 30 years, 40 years, 100 years. I would say probably 100 years ago. It'll probably be closer to the ones in the future, but we'll get to that too. But there's going to be a lot of differences as well. So the old way of doing business was to have profit as the bottom line. Money as the only option. Now what that does is it removes our emotional well-being from the product, and it removes our emotional well-being from the consumer, and it completely actually removes our happiness as individuals who are selling products, who are marketing, selling, distributing, creating products to the consumer. It separates everything, really, because it compartmentalizes everything. So money's not evil. It's just a tool, but it's this tool that's very removed. So instead of saying, here's this product, you give me there's not like really, there's no emotional exchange. It's all, everything's off-put onto money. And so that's very useful because sometimes we don't want to have an emotional relationship when we're buying something, but then it's kind of twisted, and then advertising gets back into that emotional state. So the way that businesses have been running in the past has been really a lot at the expense of everything in order to serve profit. Now, money is not even really very useful in the new world. When I say new world, I just mean utopia, the world that we're ascending into, the world of awareness, the world of understanding, the world of peace and love, where everyone understands that we're all connected and we're all one. It is inevitable because of technological understandings, because of the technology that we have integrating with our lives, and because of the exposure and connections that we are forming with each other despite previous boundaries and barriers. So the old way of doing business had to be somewhat innovative. One of the reasons why, I studied Walmart for a while. I was like really into studying how Walmart got so big. And one of the reasons why Walmart was so successful is because they were early adopters of a lot of technology. RFID tags, which are the radio frequency identifier tags that you see in clothes, a lot of times that's how shipping works. It's a lot of times how registers work and how all of that stuff. RFID tags were invented and developed by Walmart for their own purposes, and of course now everyone uses them as well. So that was a huge win for them in their business model. And to be technologically savvy and to be adapting technologically is important for old world businesses to succeed, especially over long periods of time. But now, in the new age, it is exceptionally important to be developing not only technologies, but also emotionally. You have to develop emotionally and technologically as a company, and you have to be ready and willing to change drastically with the target market because the world is changing so much. If you want a business that's going to be successful in 2020, and I don't just mean like a flash success, I mean like long-term successful, you're going to have to be extremely adaptive, both to technology and to the emotional changes that the world is undergoing as well, into being more loving and into having more connections with each other, and also into the different ways that we are learning to communicate with each other. So there's going to be a lot of things that are happening in the world that might seem strange at first. For instance, telepathy is happening now, and a lot of people are learning how to do telepathy. Now, if you think there are any companies right now who are heading up the technological integration with telepathy, I don't think you're right. I mean, Unicult, we have an app that we're working on getting developed that does that, but like, people are not able necessarily, who are built into these old business models, to analyze the changes that we're going to be undergoing as the human race. So you have to be really open-minded as a business leader if you want a business to be successful in the upcoming years. So the other thing is that product is going to be more removed from the forefront of the thing. So if you think about something like Sprite or McDonald's or something like that, they have a really, really, really strong emotional connection to a lot of their customers. Coca-Cola, like all these companies. When you hear those names, you feel something. You have nostalgia. You have these memories. You have these associations, like this glow around the product, or you feel like it's part of your family. Those are really successful marketing campaigns, and they're really poisonous because they were developed by people sitting in boardrooms with no care whatsoever for the consumer and only profit as the end goal. So what we have to do now is come at it from a really compassionate understanding, and understand that we are all one, and come into the home, come into the family, come into the consumer's actual life with love and compassion rather than just the desire to make money. And the reason why we need to shift away from having money as just the end goal is because it's poisonous, it's detrimental, and consumers are going to see right through it. Already, consumers are becoming more savvy, and they're seeing through products that are out just to get money. For instance, when you log into Facebook, do you feel safe or comfortable or trusting of that company? No. All your friends are there, so it should feel like a safe space, but for some reason, you always feel like you're being watched and that your data is being monitored and that you're being advertised to. That is a good example of a bad business model, because they are sitting there just pulling whatever they can get out of the consumer, and we can feel that. And sure, we're using the product right now, but that will not stand in the future. In just a couple of years, people will reject that. We could reject it right now, and that's why things like Enter Satoria are popping up. And like Enter Satoria is amazing. Christina Martin has worked really hard to make this whole social media site for us so that we don't have to feel that way when we go to the website that we want to share with our, with our friends and family. So that's a really good example of removing that greedy taking aspect of the business and put in instead a true compassion and a true care and a true love for the end user. A lot of companies now that are very successful are utilizing marketing campaigns that make it seem like they care. Maybe they do care, but the thing is that it's still a marketing campaign. The bottom line is still profit, and they're still trying to say, oh, well, we're using all organic and we pay our farmers, and look at this picture of a cow, and it's like, it feels better to eat those foods, right? Like, it feels better, and it's like a step in the right direction, but it's still like a well-designed package. And like, I don't know that we'll ever get away from those things exactly, because they speak to us on a biological level. When you look at a piece of fruit, that's a well-designed package. We have these things ingrained in us biologically to be appealing, and there's certain things that really do draw our attention towards them. That's not a bad thing so long as what you're offering is actually nutritious to the body, mind, and spirit. That because we are all one, and because consumers are going to be increasingly concerned and increasingly aware and have an increasing distaste for companies which are dishonest and disingenuous with their marketing campaigns. So we've got innovation, we've got the separation of product, and it's like a lot of people who I've talked to in the old world kind of business models are like, this is absurd, this is poppycock, like you have to have profit as your end goal. You cannot survive as a business if you don't have profit as your end goal. And my argument lately, I think in my head at least, has been that money is not profit. In the new world, it's not. There's nothing to be gained with money other than the fact that other people think money is valuable. In the new world, I think we can see profit not as just money, but as how are we profiting ourselves? How are we profiting the world? Think of joy as profit. Spreading joy. How much joy can you spread? Money will come with that because this is the new world. That's not necessarily the case in the old world. I agree. It's been you basically had to be cutthroat. Psychopaths, there's this whole thing. There's a book called The Psychopath Test. Psychopaths do really well as CEOs for old world businesses because they don't have morals, they don't have emotional connections to the end user, and all they care about is profit. That is actually how businesses have been set up and run for the last 20, 30 years, 40 years. Now, in the future, empaths are going to be the leaders and the people in business who are running really good businesses, because they're going to actually see the needs of consumers, and consumers are going to, even people who are not so savvy about all of this, who are just coming into their own awakening very slowly, they're going to be able to see two products or two companies or two services or whatever you're offering, and they're going to be able to simply feel the intentions behind each one, because that's just where we're coming into. I think the last thing that I have to talk about is the treatment of employees. A lot of businesses, they have the same attitude towards their customers as they do for their employees, just to take and take and take, and to get whatever they can out of it. There's a lot of companies that, only hire part-time so that they don't have to pay for that, pay for benefits and things like that. And that is just so wrong. First of all, yeah, a lot of employees are treated really horribly, and they're not given nearly enough money to live. They're not given enough money for their time. They're not respected. I feel like to pay someone such small wages as I have made for most of my life, like $5, $7, $8 an hour, to pay someone that little for their life, for hours of their life, is insulting to the human race as a whole, because each person has significant amounts of value and each hour is worth more than $8. That's just absurd to me. Also, a lot of times you're not even doing anything at work, so it's just mind-boggling, the way it's all set up. So the treatment of employees is increasingly important because universal income will happen. We will figure out a way, maybe not now, but soon, to initiate universal income, maybe a technology tax where people are using robotics to outsource labor and to pay universal income. So when you've got every person in the U.S., the Transhumanist Party does talk about universal income. Universal income is essential, and it's necessary, and robots have begun taking over the jobs. We think of this as some far-fetched, like, futuristic thing. Go to the grocery store. Who checks out your groceries? You do, with a robot. You and a robot get along checking out groceries, and there's one person where there used to be 7. You know what I mean? So this is one example of robots actually taking over our jobs, and universal income is inevitable. It will happen. So imagine this future where universal income is inevitable. Every person's getting $2,000 or $3,000 a month just to be alive. And how are you going to get people to work for you if everybody's getting $2,000 or $3,000 a month just to be alive? What are you going to do to get people to work for you if you still need human labor? You're going to have to be really nice and treat them with a lot of respect. One of the best ways to do this is to give them the space to do their own thing. Google does this with the 20% time, which means that on Friday, everybody gets to work on whatever they want to work on. All the benefit of that time still goes to Google as the umbrella, Google as the end result. But the thing is that a lot of their innovations have been made that way. Unicult wants to hire people based on just to do whatever they want to do for Unicult. You know, like I want to be able to hire people to be like, okay, what are you good at? What do you want to do for Unicult? Here's a paycheck. Go for it. And I think that having that kind of freedom and support to do what you love is really the only way that you're ever going to keep employees around in the future. So the business model has to shift dramatically, and the more we can understand these concepts and the more we can be prepared for them, the better kind of businesses we will be creating right now. And also, it's important to create better businesses because they really have a big impact on the world as a whole. So if you are even just starting out, like selling your paintings or your crystal necklaces on Etsy right now, like, keep your mind open. How can you grow? How can you expand? How can you be the best company you can be? Are you getting your crystals from a slave mine, you know, in China? Are you getting them from a better mine in Brazil? Like, can you find that information out? Don't exhaust yourself, you know, do your best. And you know, buy organic, you know, buy from the businesses that you think are doing a good job already, and be a business that's even better. And you will bring about immense, great amounts of change for this world. Universal income sounds amazing. Well, if you see that, you see if that happens, there will be no need for energy leeching humans. Depopulation is the answer when robots take over. No, we don't need to depopulate. We can all just live. Not to mention possible future mentoring from ET races. You guys can get mentored by ET races right now. Just so you know. You just got to meditate on it. You're getting mentored by an ET race right now. After Nibiru, humans will be fourth dimensional and intergalactic civilization. It's slow going, Stephen. It's inevitable to have that happen, but it's slower going. It's not just going to be like one big thing. That's what everybody thought 2012 would be. Selling rocks is not useless. No, maybe for you, you don't buy rocks, but a lot of us do deal and sell and buy and enjoy crystals. So yeah, it's a gradual change, and I'm really, like I said, I'm talking about 2020. That's 4 years from now. It's a really long time. But you heard it here first. And if you want to start a business now, these are the kind of concepts that you can have a business started around right now. If you're starting a business in your garage, if you're starting a business, just from the smallest things that you have, just follow your passion. Like, what kind of business should you start? What do you like to do? If somebody was paying you to do something, what would it be? Like, if you could just do something and you got paid for it, what would it be? And that's what you can start focusing on. I think you meant to say Unibless is what I'm reading that as. Little crowns with crystals. See, that sounds nice. I think a lot of us would enjoy that. And you guys, it's like, remember, the product really is only partially important. What's really important is community. That's attention, community. These are things that are commodities that we undermine because we think that money and brand names are the only power that we have. But attention and community is really important. Bashar came out with a documentary called First Contact. Cool. All right. What did we miss? Did we miss anything? I don't know where my thing is. I made new t-shirts, you guys. This is what they look like. Say aliens are real. They glow in the dark. They glow in the dark really well. Once the revolution hits and depopulation starts, what's the point of rocks? You're just living in fear. Also, Serious Disclosure is a good alien documentary. Awesome. Dr. Stephen Greer is releasing a new documentary called Unacknowledged. I recommend it to everyone here. Thank you. It really does glow in the dark very well. It's hard to get on camera, but it does. And Jeremy Garner is releasing a new album, you guys, on my birthday. You guys, he's releasing on my birthday. So that's really exciting. And people now just opt in, like you are now. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to opt in, and that's fine. And the cool thing is that you're going to have better choices to opt into. So, like, if I never created Unicult, you guys wouldn't have the choice to opt into Unicult. So, that's the importance of creating community and creating these things, because there is no infrastructure, there's no spaces for us to exist safely without other people creating them, or if we create them ourselves. My birthday is August 16th. So it's coming up. You guys can pre-order his album on jeremygarnermusic.bandcamp.com. And remember to donate 10% of your income to me. There's a button in one of these corners with a circle with an eye in it. You click that, it says more info, and you can donate your several hundreds of dollars or whatever. Thank you. Thank you, Johnny. All right, you guys, I hope you have an amazing Sunday, and I will talk to you tomorrow for 7 p.m., where anything is possible. You were looking for a cult when you saw a Unicult, and then you opted in. Shirt is awesome. Oh, it's only a few days away from mine. Cool. When's yours, Quantum? My coffee is cold. How did it get cold? I just got some Aura Light. Thank you. Have a great day, too. I learned it can be used to put new ideas in the world. Cool. August 26th. Awesome. 10 days away from mine. Can I sell nothing and make money? I'll even give you a certificate of authenticity that you were indeed sold nothing. You can try it. Has it been done before? I don't know. I'm sure you could sell a couple. I mean, you're selling the certificate is the thing. That's not really a very successful way of selling nothing. There's maybe some ways around it. I don't know. I feel like you're always selling something. Even if you take donations, you're still selling the fact that you're taking donations. So I don't think you can sell nothing. Because I don't think you ever can be or have nothing to offer. That's the whole, like, kind of crux of this argument, is that we all have so much to offer that when you're given such small amounts of money for it, it's offensive. We should be paid to breathe. That's how valuable it is to breathe. How did I get so smart? Just thinking. Unibless!